What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Sylvester Stallone, Mike Tyson, and Jake Paul. Get this. Sylvester Stallone had this to say about Mike Tyson. He said, "I've known this unbelievable athlete since he's 19 years old. And what we saw was him giving one of the greatest Oscar-winning performances of all time." Okay? He said, "So in conclusion, I'll take a line from Rocky. He's a wrecking machine. Anything he touches, it breaks badly." And those are the words of Sylvester Stallone, and let me counterpunch what he meant by that Oscar-winning performance. Meaning that Mike Tyson took a dive, he restrained himself. It was a scripted fight. He could have done more, but he had to hold down and take a bite. Bars. And what I say about that is, I'll say this. I have never, ever seen Mike Tyson bite on his gloves like that. I've seen him, I've never seen him bite that much. You know what I mean? I never seen that. And I thought that was strange. It was almost like, what the hell? But I think it was one of those coping mechanisms where it's something that you want to do, but you can't do. So you bite down on something. When somebody pisses you off, you take a bite. There you go. Okay? I think that was the same thing. I think Mike was doing that because he knew, like, man, with all I know, and all I know I can do and still can do, regardless of whatever's on my leg or knee or whatever and how conditioned it is, it's not going to stop you from doing what? Punching, especially moving forward, like I explained earlier today, okay, in the video I did before I went to sleep this morning. And it just shows you what he had to put up with and deal with, and it was, in that case, if you look at it, it was an Oscar-winning performance because, for a lot of people, we looked at a 58-year-old Mike with a bum knee and not being able to move and wheezing and stuff like that. We looked at that as just being someone that's just too old. And a lot of people was fooled. Okay, until like recent evidence has came out against that, stating that, hey, there was some stuff going on in there and it was scripted. You see how he patted him on the back, and ever since that pat, he didn't do jack. Bars, right? But I think, what Sly understands is that a guy like Tyson, Mike Tyson Mike can squat and do things. One thing about Mike Tyson, that one thing he had was legs. He could squat and keep them squatting. You know what I mean? And you think about it, Mike hasn't gained a lot of weight before, not for a long time. I mean, 15, 20 years, he's been pretty slim, to say the least. He's not a big dude anyway, but he just did get kind of fat, kind of, out of sorts and such, right? When he did retire and he was on the, the Coca-Cola snow, right? So, you look at that type of stuff and you're like, okay, well, what was holding him back? I think what was holding him back was $20 million was holding him back. Someone offering you that amount of money for a scripted exhibition, you have to remember at the end of the day, that's exactly what it is, an exhibition. And exhibitions work a certain way, That's why I never respected wrestling. I knew of wrestling, you know what I mean? WWE, WWF. I didn't watch it. My cousins and all that I grew up with, they did. I just wasn't a fan because of the scripted stuff like that. But I guess I watched something scripted the other day now, didn't I? So I should give wrestling a real break. Because, based on new evidence and new things that people have pointed out, like, wait a minute, why didn't he throw that punch? And then I did wonder during the fight, I'm like, why didn't he throw that punch? And something that I don't think a lot of people, it just hit me just now. I don't think a lot of people realize that maybe, just maybe, because for some people they saw it. Like, you shout out to my peeps in the UK. They saw it without it being buffered, without it stopping, without it having issues or whatever. A lot of the world didn't. We over here didn't. East Coast, West Coast, Central. We didn't see a lot of that unless you were alive, but we didn't see that fight for what it was. So a lot of people were disappointed by the distraction of the buffering and the technical issues that we were having with the fight at all. So, you're seeing like little clips of Mike doing a lot of nothing. And you just thought to yourself, like, well, wait a minute. Well, why isn't Mike at least moving? Why isn't he even at least trying? Because again, it's better to, throw shots and get countered and get knocked out than go in there and stand still and take a punch after punch, and then a punch after punch, and then a clinch, and then a repeat the process, right? So Oscar winning performance. I can't argue with that, because that's what people now are seeing. Because, Rocky, of all people, Sly Stallone is a guy that knows how to follow a scripted script. He's choreographed thousands of times and rounds of getting a particular fight done in a particular scene about a particular fight in a particular movie or of movies, right? So, anybody that has that eye, like, you know what? Nah, he pulled that punch. No, we've seen that because we've done that years before, from the 70s through the 80s, through the 90s, through the 2000s. We've seen what a scripted punch looks like. And shame on me, because I'm a stunt guy. I should have known, well, wait a minute, that punch was pulled until I seen that evidence today. Counterpunch. But you guys tell me what you think of Sly Stallone stating that Mike Tyson gave us one hell of an Oscar-winning performance. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!